and go out and visit businesses, just walk-ins. They call it canvassing, prospecting, and you can't usually do 50 in a day. But you can accomplish the same results with 20 to 25 visits a day. So learn how to do that and the confidence to be able to walk out what you're going to say and what you're going to do. The script is identical. If you can get that person to come out of their office and meet with you and shake their hand and hand them a card and give them your 30-second script, tell them you'll be back next week, it works just as well, but you won't even have to make 50 calls. So I started doing that, and then people say all the time, so I'll just come clean with you all the way. Do you still prospect like that? I don't have to. Because with the 37 groups I opened, or 34 groups I opened up last year, I asked all of them for 2 referrals, which now I have 70 people to go. Thank you. I thought I was getting arrested or something. You a police officer? No, I didn't want to grab my shoulder. Thank you very much. And so you get referrals and you start getting known in the community, and yes, I prospect, but not as intense as I did to start. Yeah.
Rufino, then Lamb.
Okay. So you're making your 50 calls a day initially,
Mm-hmm.
and you're setting up your appointments for next week.
Yeah.
Now, typically, you're making your calls in the morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then next week, what if somebody tells you, I can only meet you at 8 or 9? Are you now adjusting based on that?
And that day I'll shift my calls to the afternoon and try to schedule as many of those decision maker meetings on the same day. I don't try to do 1 on Monday, 1 on Tuesday. You know, try to put 3 in one day and 2 in one day. And then the other days you have the schedule to yourself to be able to, you know, do your other activities. And then the next thing that's going to compound is you're going to start doing enrollments. And making decision maker meetings and making phone calls. And if you're you look like quite an astute business person.
It's the glasses.
It's the glasses. But it's really not that much to juggle in a week's calendar. You'll figure out how to fit it in there.
But you're adjusting it more based on the appointments you just set up in the enrollments, the phone calls.
Yeah, be flexible. Don't be so rigid. Like sometimes when I called the first whole week in the morning.
Yeah.
Then next week, I'll call in the afternoon because I'm going to be calling a lot of the same places I didn't get a hold of last week, and maybe I'll try them in the afternoon next week. So shift it up, make it exciting, as grueling as cold calling can be, try to make it a little bit, you know, more entertaining.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm next. Question on leaving the messages. I found that trying to do 50 dials and leaving messages is quite a bit. When you leave voicemail, what do you say?
He doesn't.
Well, remember I told you for a while I studied the perfect message?
Right.
And I had this message that I would leave with people thinking, surely with that teaser I just gave them, they're going to call me back. And I don't care what you say, they're not calling you back. So what's the point in really worrying about what message you leave? So I tell them, I have many people who don't leave any at all, except for the fact that I want them to know how persistent I was if they neglect my call for 10 weeks in a row. Now, I'll call them and leave a voice message today, okay? Scott Brooks, Legal Shield, would love to hear from you. Something that's 10 seconds long. Because when I had that perfect script, it was 62 seconds. I had time. And I just realized you just spent 50 minutes leaving voice messages. So that was a waste of my time. Because nobody calls back.
Right.
So quick messages. But if I get back on the phone again and call that person again on Thursday, I don't leave a voice message again that week. I'm not going to blow their phone up every day with a voice message. I will only leave 1 voice message per week, but I might dial them 4 times. Because now they're going to get ticked at you if you just, you know, so just leave 1 a week. And if it's the 10th week before you got them, where you called and they were unsuspecting and they picked up the phone, you're like, ooh, got him. And you give them, oh yeah, I know who you are, because you left a message for 9 weeks. Very polite, very professional, and they will appreciate your tenacity.
Thank you.
Sure.
Right here. When you call off Reference USA, they have the executive's name. Do you ask for that person, or do you just try to find out who the decision
That depends on the size of the company. I found that if the company's less than 50 employees, I have a much better chance of trying to speak to the owner. Or usually there's not a CEO, it's the owner. Over 50, a lot of red tape. They start getting vice presidents and controllers and things like that. And so for larger companies over 50, I ask for the person that makes the employee benefits decision. Can I speak to the person that makes the employee benefits decisions? Now remember, they got a bunch of other benefits, so they know who that is. So that's what worked for me. Sometimes I know we always hear go to the top person and let it trickle down. Doesn't always quite work like that. So you'll learn from your matrix like I did that under 50 I had better success with going to the top, and over 50 I had better success going to the vice president of HR or the HR director or the benefits coordinator. Okay? Okay.
What materials do you bring when you meet the decision maker? What materials do you bring?
Just the ones that the group school told me to bring.
Your group school is what? He doesn't teach group.
I don't teach group school. What they teach is that when you will go through group school as a group certified associate, there will be a link that's opened up in your back office for supplies for groups. And they have these beautiful, I might have one. Gail, you don't have one, do you? I invited somebody too. They have these beautiful white folders like this that you can get using production credits, so it doesn't cost me anything. Okay? And then this is not the material, this is just what the folder looks like. And then in here, you can put your card. And over here on this pocket, I put the HR proposal. It's another marketing piece that's designed just for you and I to present to decision maker meetings. It talks about how our benefit reduces absenteeism and promotes productivity and 34,000 companies. You've seen that.
It's the orange one.
It's the orange one. I put that here. And then over here I put a couple of current event articles about identity theft. And I put the legal needs survey over here. So when I'm presenting off of the orange HR proposal, I refer over to here to establish the need. Identity theft is serious, some current events. So here's an article, here's this, here's that, and when I get to the legal, here's the current study needs. It says that 97% of the people said that lawyers charge too much. Why? Because they charge too much. And people said if lawyers didn't charge so much, so I established the need using support documents, and I leave that with them. That's all I bring. Nope, nothing else fancy. So they pay for all of it. They give it to me to do that. I was going to look at starting an Allstate franchise. I didn't tell you that story before I started with Eagle Shield. And I interviewed with Allstate to open up a brokerage franchise in Charlotte. And I was almost ready to get the loan and pull the trigger on opening an Allstate brick and mortar office. And it was going to cost me $128,000 for the franchise. And I had to pay for all my marketing materials, and I had to buy desks and furniture and signs and rent and mortgages and assistant, and you know, 128 grand versus $149. All my marketing materials were free.
What are your super secrets for getting past the gatekeeper?
There aren't any. I don't know any. I try to put lotion on my face in the morning so I look moisturized. Maybe a little cologne. Maybe compliment the way their office looks, because usually the gatekeeper had something to do with the way that lobby reception area looks. But if they're good, you're not getting past them. And if you know you've got a stone-walled gatekeeper that you're not getting past, then you might want to bring them a gift next time you stop by. Bring them a Starbucks card, and my cheapest gift that I give is an empty, tall Starbucks card, a cup, an empty Starbucks cup with a lid and that little green pluggy thing. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. With a sleeve, those are all free. Oh, and I put a $5 Starbucks card inside and tell them I bought them a cup of coffee. I bought this for you. Now, trying to get in front, and I can't just, all you can do is keep trying. Or bring one of those cups of coffee to your person you're trying to see and try to get it to them so next time you do call, they've got your card inside the Starbucks cup too. But I haven't found any secrets. I mean, has anybody got any secrets about how to get past the gatekeeper? Some you do and some you don't. Yes, sir.
So you mentioned professional dress and not being the guy with the crooked photocopies and stuff.
Yeah.
So you've been picking up the phone, but now you've been out walking in canvassing. What do you dress like when you walk in canvassing?
When I'm canvassing, what do I dress like? I will wear a button-down collar dress shirt, sometimes with a tie, just depends. I have a jacket, like a mid-cut jacket, like a warm jacket, which you guys would definitely need here, and a scarf. Or I could wear my wool coat, some dress slacks, and some nice shoes. Nothing too fancy. I don't wear suits. I don't wear suits the majority of the time, even on enrollments. Almost never. If I'm going out to manufacturing, like the enrollment we did the other day was manufacturing. I wore a polo shirt and Dockers. Because that's what their managers looked like. You know, they weren't wearing suits and ties and really nice, you know, clothing with cufflinks and things like that. So try, but I think, you know, like the way you're dressed right now, I mean, if you had a button-down collar on that showed, or even put a tie under your sweater, you'd look great going out canvassing and prospecting. Basically, I tell people, try to look like an insurance agent, because that's what we are. I mean, really, that's what we are. That's what they're always going to perceive you as. Just don't be perceived as the sloppy guy who showed up with a crooked photocopy and bad breath. Oh, does that help a little? Yeah.
Hi.
Hey.
For the person that works full-time, 9 to 5, when most businesses are open, what would you suggest would be a good time to try and get in contact with the decision maker or what have you, when weekends or the time off, or, you know, when you get off, they're off, what kind of advice can you give in that area?
Well, one of the things I love about group is that all my appointments are 9 to 5. And I've never done a decision maker meeting or ever scheduled